Because of their emotional intelligence, people claim that Sigma INFJs make excellent lifelong mates. Nevertheless, from the perspective of the Sigma INFJ, finding love is never simple. Not everyone is the appropriate person for them, even though they can be the one that everyone has been waiting for. These are 10 explanations for why a Sigma INFJ finds it hard to fall in love. 10th point, they have high standards. Sigma INFJs are not being ostentatious. They are not attempting to draw additional individuals into their radar by exaggerating how valuable they are. To safeguard their sanity from those who may take advantage of it, they are selective, but for all the right reasons. Sigma INFJs have sophisticated intellect and complex personalities. Because of the way they see and understand the world, they rarely get along with anyone. They are sensitive to both physical and emotional attention. However, they are unable to lie. Only a small percentage of people could relate to their love languages. Because of this, they are always open to the possibility of falling in love. However, this is only possible if the other person can match their high frequency, eliminating the need for them to continuously translate between their spiritual and emotional languages. In order to avoid continually having to defend themselves, it must be with someone who shares their beliefs, values, and attitudes. It's understandable why it's harder for Sigma INFJs to find love. It's just objectively harder to meet someone with whom you can resonate on such a high frequency. 9. They tend to overthink things. Sigma INFJs are very analytical and clever people that think a lot. They find that deliberating before acting, speaking, or interacting is beneficial since it helps them learn new things and advance in their lives. But precisely because they overthink relationships, this is the reason they struggle to find love. They scrutinize everyone's life goals, rationales, and motivations excessively. As soon as they detect a spark, Sigma INFJs will immediately enter a guarded, hypervigilant mode rather than simply going with the flow and trusting the process. Furthermore, one characteristic of intelligent individuals such as Sigma INFJs is their need to approach things from a logical perspective and method. Why would they initiate a relationship if, after 5 to 10 years, they decide that person is not the one for them? For what reason would they devote their time and effort to that relationship? 8th point, they are extremely perceptive. Despite their seeming coldness, distance, and passivity, Sigma INFJs are nonetheless INFJs. INFJs are more reactive than anyone else because they are emotionally open to the cues around them. However, their capacity to remain calm and detached allows them to deal with the pandemonium inside of them brought on by their overstimulating surroundings. This is an additional element that impacts their capacity to discover love. Because they are usually quite honest and pick up on a lot of indicators, they are fairly sensitive to emotional and romantic concerns. If they find someone's touchiness or topic selections uncomfortable, they cannot pretend to like it. They instantly establish their distance rather than waiting to see where it goes. They will promptly set limits and remove themselves from the situation if their partner acts disrespectfully or in an offensive manner. Because relationships can be overwhelming, Sigma INFJs are persuaded to wait until they are completely ready to fall in love before entering a relationship. 7th, they become irritated with other people's lack of critical thinking. The ability to work things out and learn the whys and hows of the universe together is the Sigma INFJ's favorite aspect of love partnerships. It also refers to the notion of having a companion with whom to delve deeply into their thoughts and examine their existential purpose. But Sigma INFJs will surely have a hard time finding love because these ideal partners are so rare. Every time they attempt dating, they frequently become angry with their partner's poor comprehension and lack of critical thinking. They find themselves concerned if their significant other has grasped the seriousness and comedy in their remarks. To put it plainly, those that think extremely conventionally, simplistically, and occasionally narrowly tend to repel Sigma INFJs. Do self-limiting and too simplistic responses irritate you as a Sigma INFJ as well? 6th, their standards are exceedingly high. Sigma INFJs are never satisfied with anything less, thus it makes sense that they would be the last in their social group to enter into a romantic relationship. They don't feel the need to lower their standards in order to put up with someone's troubling aspects of their existence. Relationships should, in their opinion, be joyful rather than stressful. They merely prefer to be solitary and cognitively well rather than in a relationship, but emotionally spent. It's not that they base their happiness on relationships. It's not love if a connection makes them feel less real. Similarly, a relationship is toxic if it makes individuals suppress their emotional needs and decrease their self-love. Number 5, they struggle to maintain their curiosity. Unfortunately, being choosy and demanding doesn't always work well for Sigma INFJs. They struggle to maintain interest in their spouse because of these traits, especially now that they've finally realized how shallow their thinking is. Sigma INFJs would be happy to delve deeply into someone's reasoning and to glean their partner's innermost thoughts, anxieties, and hypothetical scenarios. However, this is only until they discover their spouse is a shallow puddle in thought. They would be disappointed to learn it was never a trench in the ocean, as they had assumed. However, why are deep comprehension and depth of thought important to Sigma INFJs? This is due to their understanding of the impact intelligence has on people's attitudes and ability to make decisions. In the long run, someone with superficial thinking may have innumerable difficulties. For this reason, they would hold off on dating until they were certain. They detest leaving people hanging and shattering hearts. How can a Sigma INFJ get closure with someone they've broken up with? In what way do you justify your actions to them? Fourth, they place a higher importance on intellect and action than on sentimental response. One characteristic of Sigma INFJs is their inability to purchase emotions. They simply understand that emotions are fleeting, contradictory, and inconsistent. Therefore, they shouldn't base their decision to enter into a relationship on someone expressing intense feelings for them. This is not to say that they are cold, emotionless, or passive. They are aware that they shouldn't pursue a romantic relationship with someone just because they are attracted to them. This explains why corny texts, flowery love letters, and nice remarks won't bribe Sigma INFJs. If they ever choose to enter a relationship, it will have to be for a purpose other than intense emotions. They have to have a good reason for committing to someone. It can be for any number of reasons, not only I love him or her, such as because they'll make wise judgments as a husband. Third, they are overly preoccupied with marching independently. Everybody has distinct priorities. The friends of Sigma INFJs won't hold it against them if they place more importance on dating than on personal growth and professional achievement. Well, that's their way of living. Would Sigma INFJs, however, match the majority's interests and priorities? No, they shouldn't get a significant other just because everyone else in their social group has one already. Priorities exist for Sigma INFJs as well. They're just different from those of other individuals. Being a person who operates on a different frequency, Sigma INFJs are not ashamed to prioritize character development and self-improvement over romantic relationships. They actually know whether or not they're ready to fall in love, therefore they won't jump in. Does the pressure to date trouble you in the slightest, as a Sigma INFJ? Second, they have a lot of disagreements. INFJs who are Sigma admit that their argumentative nature makes it more difficult for them to find love. They believe that they would prefer to have no conversation at all if their partner does not hold strong beliefs regarding stereotypes and social injustice. Similarly, they would prefer not to open up if their prospective spouse simply nods and concurs whenever they discuss contentious subjects. Sigma INFJs hate people who are too quiet and don't voice their opinions on important matters. They are allergic to those who don't have any opinions at all. However, they make an effort to impart their information and be transparent about their opinions before criticizing someone for being passive or uninterested in engaging in debate. For the Sigma INFJ, quitting is not an option if the other person continues to show no interest in them. First of all, they would prefer to be alone than to be with the wrong person. Finding the appropriate mate comes first for Sigma INFJs, followed by going on a date. And they won't give a damn about how long it takes. They simply cannot fathom spending decades of their lives tiptoeing around their relationship and being annoyed by all the unspoken issues their partner won't talk about. They therefore utilize their emotional intelligence and intuition to determine whether that person is the appropriate one for them, as opposed to bouncing from relationship to relationship and seeing where it leads. They would be contentedly single if not. Are you all ready with the appropriate person as a Sigma INFJ? You knew they were the one, but how? How long a person has been single doesn't matter to a Sigma INFJ. What matters is that if they do fall in love, it has to be with someone they know they would never let go of. Has you already found that particular someone? How did you get in touch with them?